On the second part, inside this cave, which will take us right to another area of the Ice Mountain. As you can see, there was a goddess statue to the north, which I'll show you later on, which will give you a little bit more info on where to go if you want it, but I'll tell you how to get up there in just a little while. When we make it inside here, you see this big wall of snow. Well, unfortunately, you wouldn't know how to get through it the first time, but what you have to use is your fire rod in order to make a hole through the snow and work your way through it. By going through, you end up getting the magic of Transform from this chest. Now what the magic of Transform allows you to do is turn into this little duck creature, which is similar to some of the other duck creatures we're going to meet a little bit later in the game. And that allows us to really talk to the enemies in the game and get information from them. When you have the magic of Transform on, you turn into the monster, no enemies will attack you because you're in monster form, you can talk to them and figure out where you have to go to next. Within this chest is the stone shoes. Now what they're going to be able to do for us is you may have noticed some of these ice slides set up throughout the Ice Mountain, and these will allow us to actually climb up these Ice Mountain slides in order to continue on. Right there was one of the ones I'll have to come back to in just a little while in order to make it to that boss room to fight the boss of the Ice Mountain. With the stone shoes though, I have to backtrack a little bit to the earlier parts of this mountain in order to get a couple more things before I can go on. By going up this ice slide, we find this chest which has the Idol of Hawk. When you choose to have the Idol of Hawk selected in your inventory, what it allows you to do is with your fire magic, the fire magic will now home in on the enemies. Up here is the location of that statue, which you need the stone shoes in order to get up to it. When you first talk to the statue, it'll say you'll have to use the Scroll of Guidance in order to actually hear what it has to say. So if you want to get that little bit of extra information, you can by doing that. When making our way all the way backtracking through the entire mountain, going along this long path, we finally come to another item box, which holds the Illusion Mirror. The Illusion Mirror will actually allow us to see a hidden boss door that we wouldn't be able to see without it. Before I continue on and work my way all the way back to the boss room I just mentioned, I am going to stop by Rance Village one last time in order to refill my health, since I can't do so while I'm on this mountain, and I actually am really low and I'm going to need that help when I fight that boss. So while of course backtracking is a pain, it'll be worth it since I will get my full health back. If you wanted to get another one of the Rhoda Nuts, they would give you a little bit of your health back when used, but it wouldn't replenish your health all the way back up, and you need to come to at least here in order to get your health back. However, since it takes a long time, it may be worth it just to go back up the stairs and go over to Bernice's house and get the health that way a little bit quicker than just standing still. With my health back, it's now time to go back into the Ice Mountain, and now we're going to work our way through the Ice Mountain one more time in order to get over to that boss room. The second time going through the Ice Mountain obviously will be a lot easier since you kind of have a feeling of where you're going. But the thing is, you want to try to reserve your health as much as possible since we do have a boss battle coming up, and the enemies still on those very small platforms can be definitely a pain. So I really wouldn't recommend fighting anything that you don't have to while backtracking through this mountain. When you make it back here, you won't be actually able to go into this door, so you have to use the illusion mirror, which will actually show you where the real door is located. Once inside the actual boss room, it begins our next boss battle. Now this hopping enemy can be a pain because every time he lands he launches a very large spread of shots, and the only time you're going to be able to do damage to him is exactly when he lands. You have to fire one of the fire shots at him in order to hit him. Actually hitting him can be a challenge because not only do you have to time your shots right, sometimes you'll think you'll hit him and you'll end up just going right past him and missing him altogether, like I just did there. Just be careful of the fireballs that do shoot out. You'll get a good idea of where you can stand because the way they spread out, you can either go right to the bottom of him where he's standing or right to the north of where he's standing in order to actually dodge most of his projectiles. And thankfully, with the leveling that we did a little bit earlier on, we shouldn't have too much trouble with this guy. With that boss defeated, a little bit more experience, health, and MP back, and as we make it through and go down these stairs, we exit the ice world and end up in a lava-filled world. The lava world in many ways is similar to the ice world that we were just in that it's not nearly as difficult to navigate as some of the other dungeons that we've seen earlier in the Ys game and the one that we have coming up. The enemies as well aren't too much tougher, and with the experience that we've already gained through the game, these enemies won't be too much of a problem. Our first goal is to actually head to the village that's located in this lava area to get a little bit more information and a goal or two for us to complete while in this lava-filled area. As we make our way through to the village, there's no items to pick up, so it's kind of just a straight shot path to get to that village. Once we cross this lava bridge and go over to the right here, we now actually enter the village. Once in here, you want to talk to at least a couple of the civilians here, and you'll get a general sense that there's really not too many people here, as well as that these